we would like to remind you about the conditions of the cinemarathon. Subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for the next episode. If we get 1,000 additional subscribers by the time we release the next episode, a bonus code for a combat mission will be waiting for you at the end of the video. Enjoy! This is Novorossiysk, October 11, 2017. It's around 9 a.m. and we are in a hurry to set out to reach our long-awaited goal. We are an expedition of the Underwater Research Center within the Russian Geographical Society, and our goal is the famous battleship Empress Ekaterina Velikaya. We're setting off to Cape Du, near which a formerly menacing warship, one of the largest ships of the Russian Tsar period, has been lying at the bottom of the sea for almost a century. All of our equipment, diving suits, rebreathers and lamps have been repeatedly checked, and we're totally sure of their safety. Thoughts about the mysteries that Empress Ekaterina still holds boost our mood. We discuss the details of our future submersions again and again, and even miss the moment when we anchor above the battleship.
End is right at the spot near the entrance to the working quarters. That's why I'll go there by myself first. I need to record what we did last year. Then I'll come back for you and we'll go there together. I think that won't take more than 30 minutes. We'll be moving along approximately the same route. But we'll be going first. Then we'll act accordingly, depending on the visibility and current. The same will happen for the second submersion.
The cutout hole is next. The lower edge of the hole is sharp. We tried to remove the sharp edges with hammers, but it didn't help. A good colleague of mine had 2 lamp cords cut out there last year. Be careful down there. If you're going to stand the other way, you'll hit the back of your head because it's tight. You need to find a stable position. If you lose floatage or feel even slightly uncomfortable, we know that in such places it's easy to muddy the water. Don't move your paddles, don't wave your hands, etc. In the end, prop your hand against a wall. Sure, you'll muddy the water in doing so, but with just one hand. Let's go for our health check. We might not be allowed to dive. We're still discussing it.
We're passing a mandatory health check. The doctor asks the divers how they are feeling, visually examines their skin and observable mucosae, and measures their pressure, pulse and temperature. The results are recorded in the Diver Health Check Journal.
It's scary.
Why is that?
It's scary not being allowed to dive.
For an experienced diver. Let's assume that this is a real experienced diver.
A drinker and smoker.
With a background.
With a background, right? That's how it's called.
Our health is okay, and we're going for our first submersion. Light reconnaissance first. We need to specify the environment at the bottom, visibility, currents, and the condition of the ship itself. It's a rebreather, a system with a closed respiratory cycle. Finally, that's our beauty. She's lying with her keel upwards, the way she sank in 1918. Now the ship has sunk deeper into the sea bottom. Part of the ship's hull is now 6 meters below the silt. At the beginning of the 1930s, Epron worked to extract the ammunition from the ship, but a sudden explosion damaged her drastically, and she was left well alone. But the still ship makes a colossal impression, even after having been partially destroyed by the explosion. John carefully enters the narrow hole he mentioned earlier. The edges are sharp, We need to make sure that the suit and hoses aren't damaged.
Marvelous. The visibility is great. The currents are very strong, but it's convenient for working.
Great visibility. What does it mean?
So here is the ship. We need to work here, and the current is going like this. That's why you can hide from the current near the hole. So you can hang in front of the hole. As soon as you move slightly up or to the side, the current will start dragging you away.
The visibility is very good. The current is slow.
Well, it might feel slow to you, the Baltic Sea guys, but to us from the Black Sea.
The second group is getting ready to go deeper in search for rarities and historical valuables. Frankly speaking, we want to find a very specific item, a nautical compass.
Here at the fracture, there is a beacon now, but it's for 6 meters. An iron piece holds it at 6 meters. I've just asked the guys. They will go there from here. They will launch an air chute from these 6 meters. A small boat will come and give them a rope that they will attach. Then the small boat will act as a beacon for a while. When a second beacon appears there, we'll see clearly the orientation of the ship from its aft to bow. Its orientation is basically the same as we're standing right now.
The length of the battleship is more than 181 meters. Its width, almost 27 meters. Displacement, 24,664 tons. Crew, 1,386 members. The ship has spent almost a century at the bottom. The metal has rusted extensively.
The conditions are perfect, just perfect. The visibility is great, and the current is pleasant.
It's impressive.
I broke that shelf. Well, I broke it by touch, so I don't know whether I broke it for good or not. I mean, if I broke it, I'll be able to reach farther. It's a huge iron compartment. The door was torn away, and we can move it to the side. Something is there behind it.
The one on the right?
It's the iron compartment that I was hitting with a hammer from our side.
Yeah, I see. When you passed along the hallway and dropped these things, did you turn back there?
I turned back there. I wanted to make a circle there, but couldn't fit through. That's why I turned back and came from the other side.
I see. So where are the treats?
The treats are inside that closet. Well, it's not a closet, it's a room like a closet. And taking the visibility into account, we'll give you a thicker rope. To strain the rope as straight as possible from the stem post to the fracture. The visibility is around 20 now.
We need to reach the keel within the fracture, so the rope goes straight along the midship line. That's where we need to strain the rope, from the bow to the fracture, to the middle part. It's best to... Here, remember, here is a beam. It's easy to spot it. It's almost as the keel, right? But we need to attach the rope not to it, but somewhat lower. SUMBAT proposed an idea that it should be as straight as possible. Later, he wants to make clear measured benchmarks in all directions. He wants to make marked square segments.
We're getting ready for the next stage. Light divers can't work underwater for long. The time has now come for a heavy diver. His main task is to cut a breach in a bar so we can go farther. Our goal? A nautical compass, as we presume, is located precisely in that tower. The submersion is more dangerous than the previous ones. First of all, the water has already been muddied and there's reduced visibility. Secondly, the hoses that are used for providing the breathing mixture and communication with the rest of the team can easily be damaged by sharp metal edges. This is the diver support group, not moral support, even though that's also important, but technical support. A doctor and a person responsible for the ship. The air is fed downwards in a centralized manner using a remote control. Specialists responsible for the descent check that the pressure of the breathing mixture is correct, because it's different at various depths. They observe the divers and advise them what they need to do. In such muddy water, the more observers, the better.
This is the spot. 35.
Naturally, a diver doesn't work alone, they work with a partner. Here, the partner helps roll the hoses. Since the battleship is lying upside down, our image is inverted, although one can hardly see anything in such muddy water. It seems like a steering wheel. We can use it as a benchmark to move farther. The previous group tightens the running end for orientation and prepares all the required tools, which are placed near the place to cut a breach. We'll get to the tools soon.
Alex, we're ready.
We're using an exothermic cutoff technique. It's very effective. Plasma with a temperature of 5,500 degrees. It can cut almost anything.
Charging. The charge is on.
An electrode is ignited in the oxygen flow using a special plate. Then we turn the charge off for the sake of safety.
The charge is off.
The hose is stuck.
Do I need to pull it up or something?
Well, I can't pull it towards me.
Maybe give it slack. Use the special hose valve.
The current takes the hoses and starts to pull the diver out. He can no longer reach the bar and the cutting process goes poorly.
Come on, come on.
We give the hoses slack and continue cutting the breech, but the steel of Imperatrica Ekaterina Velikaya is still tough for modern technology, even a century later. The doctor calculates the optimum ascent time according to special tables.
Let's start the ascent.
It's a responsible and very slow process to bring up a diver. A series of prolonged stops at various depths is needed for decompression. Even with significant experience, it's still complicated to stop worrying about a diver. While the diver is ascending,
Borscht is on today's menu.
the ship is humming with activity. Our cook is preparing borscht. On that day, Alex spent 80 minutes at the bottom, and it took around 4 hours to bring him back to the surface. It turned dark. The day was long and tiresome, but our entire team is still waiting on the ropes. No matter how tired you are, the hoses won't pull themselves out of the water. It's the last stop. The diver can already see the ship, but according to the rules, the diver needs to spend around an hour at that depth. Finally, the diver appears on the surface. It took 4 hours and 25 minutes to get him out of the water. That's all for today. The diver will be taken on board and desalted, and the team will have a rest. We eagerly await the next day. The next morning, we're returning to the spot in order to continue our work on the battleship. We hope that luck will favor us today.
You put headgear on yourself, okay?
Record the time.
Time of going underwater, 12:05.
As usual, the thoroughly equipped diver descends to the bottom. We are going to our workstations as well. There are no extra people on the expedition. Everyone has their duties, and the result mainly depends on good teamwork.
Alex, we're charging.
Today, everything is going much faster. The current didn't bother the diver, so he was able to cut away to the tower quickly. Now he is coming back to the surface, and our search group will replace him underwater.
Alex, you need to ascend by 3 meters in 5 minutes until you're at a depth of 3 meters. Do you read me?
Roger, going up.
There's a large compartment, and inside it, bulkheads. Well, let's call it a huge closet. The compartment's dimensions are like from here to the crane in length, and from me to you in width. There was a door on the opposite side. I broke through it yesterday. I came in, and right here, close to the hole that we had cut through, but a little bit farther. The most distant place, if you just go there and don't cut through anything, that's where the compass is. A chest is resting on it. Yes, the chest is heavy, around 300 kilos, I presume. It will be hard to move it. We'll need to insert wedges. Try using a chain or rope winch, pontoon from below, or even maybe unload some contents from it and drag to the entrance. But basically, I don't see any challenges there from a technical perspective.
We anticipate interesting findings and can't wait to get inside. But on the outside, everybody appears calm and focused. The compass is one of the most important items on a ship, especially during a battle. Also, from an aesthetic point of view, a compass is a beautiful heavy bronze item, a visually impactful item. It will look great in a museum, but most importantly, it will attract interest in the legendary ship, Russian Navy, and Russian military history. Alexander waved the flag. Everything's all right. We can move further. The passages are narrow here, and an item as big as the compass won't fit through. That's why we had to cut a way through the other side. We're passing through the familiar hallway, and we're inside the tower. The first thing we encounter on the floor, or to be more precise, on the ceiling, is a pile of oxidized guns, covered in seashells. What is there? Right behind them, under the large box. We think this is it. It's a pity there's no way we can raise it to the surface right away.
What is the box?
It's a small binnacle, most likely a small box for a compass. That's what I think. I think the compass is inside that box. Because I took that iron thing out of it. And it seems to me that's exactly the spot the compass rotates on. It's unclear why it's made of iron.
And what would you expect it to be made of?
Well, compasses are usually bronze.
We need to wash it first.
We need to wash it thoroughly, but the binnacle, we need to remove it so it doesn't dry out.
It looks like these were wooden plates. It was a wooden part. Some kind of screws. Here we have slots. Something was inserted in them.
It could be a chronometer, maybe some kind of navigational tool, a gyrocompass perhaps.
These holes are for calibrating the compass. Cylindrical bricks were inserted into them to compensate for errors.
The main compass is where it's supposed to be.
What a shock!
So have you entered the wrong compartment after all, or the correct one?
The correct one, it was piled with shell guns. I climbed a mountain of guns. The main compass was lying on a bronze binnacle, exactly the way I dreamed. It's a monolith. The compass has a protective cover on top of it. Alongside you can find some cabinets, a stool, similar to those that pianists use, round in shape and a huge box. I think, most likely, there are documents inside, a chest even.
That's unfortunate. We thought that we would come in and the compass would be there waiting. And here we are. The compass is with the pile of guns. What are you going to do?
At least we've completed our work at the stern for this exhibition.
The compass has been found. Next time, we'll definitely take it up to the surface, since we already know its whereabouts. For now, we need to weld the passage. Unfortunately, looters can even come down to greater depths. On this occasion, we don't have time for a long descent, so we've decided to use a decompression chamber. The diver has only 6 minutes to take off the suit after getting to the surface. That's why several people are assisting him at once. We're rushing. The health of the diver is most important now. On the whole, it's a standard procedure. Decompression on the surface can be performed from a stop at a depth of 12 meters and less. The pressure corresponding to the one at the depth of the last diver's stop is set in the chamber and sustained for 10 minutes. Then, the procedure is the same as for the plan of a standard descent, and decompression is performed in comfortable and safe conditions. It's time for us to return to the port, to our base. We're blowing the excess oxygen out from the chamber.
Продуваем барокамеру от избыточного количества кислорода.
The final day of the expedition. In addition to the compass, we want to grab something else for a museum. The ship's cable is a good choice. Not the entire cable, of course. A single link weighs 36 kilograms, and its diameter is around 50 centimeters. That's why we'll take just a few fragments. The ship's maintenance group prepares a winch. We'll be bringing our artifacts to the surface. The diver has done his duty. The diver can go. This time, we're going to use the decompression chamber again. This is done when time is limited. Plus, there are some other cases when it's essential. For example, the weather conditions are getting worse.
Repeat. 12. Sit and don't frown. A laboratory guinea pig.
Another advantage of having a decompression chamber, we can use a sluice gate to pass some food and drinks to our diver.
Hey, where's the sugar?
It's already in it. I've added sugar and stirred the tea.
I need more calories to raise my sugar level.
At your age, sugar should be in your urine and salt in your joints.
And at your age, it's time to wait on the shore.
We finish raising our findings to the surface. We'll wash them, do our best to reverse any damage from their time spent underwater, and put them in a museum. These artifacts will raise interest and pride in our ancestors, as well as our magnificent past. The sun is going down, and with its departure, we also depart. This expedition is over, and we're saying goodbye to the battleship until next year. We'll surely return, and not only to grab the compass, because Empress Ekaterina Velikaya still holds a plethora of secrets. Remember, the available bonus code can be activated till January 10, 2021, and the missions can be completed until the end of update 0.9.12. Subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for the next episode. If we get 1,000 additional subscribers by the time we release the next episode, a bonus code for a combat mission will be waiting for you at the end of the video.